The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Yesterday, when I was at my daughter's football, I was talking to the team manager, Martin, and I'd seen him the previous day because he was at netball like everybody else. Nat, you went to netball at Matthews. This was at Fremantle.
Right, gotcha.
When I left, my daughter was playing her second game, and I'm not hanging around for this because it's just boring me.
You turned up for the main event, but then she was just filling in for someone else, wasn't he?
Yeah. And anyway, Martin had to be the dad who was the scorer. And if you've ever done the scoring in netball for a dad, or I think have you ever done it? I do find it difficult.
Well,
you've got to put down the centre passes. There's a lot of stuff
compare it to scoring for softball, which is you need a degree.
Yeah.
It is next level
So
how complicated it is. No. So netball, it's the goals, but you've got to attribute it to which player. So goal attack, goal shooter, and then you also have to keep track of who's centre pass.
Centre pass. Yeah, it's a bit happening.
For a man, that's a lot.
Oh, and they're bloody full on at the netball. You don't want to miss a thing there.
They move
mate,
quick.
They come for you.
They go fast.
And anyway, so Martin was there, and he just thought he would. It's a sunny day, and there's no shade there unless you just move out a little bit. Which he thought, I'm just going to go and stand in the shade for 5 or so minutes because I'm getting torched here, just standing in the shade.
Because it was 21 degrees.
Yeah. And this young girl came up to him and pointed at his chest and said, "What? You are not allowed to be over here. You have to be over on the sidelines."
So the two scorers have to sit next to one another.
And was pointing at him.
Yes, and also the umpire needs to be able to see you because if they ask whose centre pass it is,
he didn't know
first of all, you have
rules.
to know, but you also have to be in their line of sight.
Yeah.
You should know this. And he said back, you should know not to speak to your elders like that because it was just a young girl and she was
So this wasn't the umpire or anybody. It was just a random who was...
Might have been a match day official.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. But if you've been to... Those games are umpired by... like in footy, you can see the young people lose control because the parents are on the sideline. In netball, the young people dominate everything.
Well, that's great that they are respected, first of all, and that their decisions
They're power
are
hungry,
final.
man. They go right off. These guys go right off. Anyway, he was told off by this young girl. So he had to come over to the sideline, sit next to the other scorer. I understand that makes sense.
Yes.
But he's just trying to get some
But
shade
also,
there for
he's just
second.
a dad who's just trying his hardest. You know what I mean? It's junior netball. It's not the World Championship. So settle down.
Ever been told off by someone younger than you that have come hard at you?
The kids, I mean, as a parent, you get told off all the time by your kids. Like, you wear a helmet, Ollie, and then I'll not wear a helmet when I'm on a scooter. And then, Dad, you have to wear a helmet. And you're right. And he's right.
He's right, yeah.
Well, they set the standards, yeah.
I had the niece that I went and watched her play the weekend before, she stayed with me for one night, so we had a couple of days together, and she corrected my driving the whole way through. Oh, you would have failed there. You would have failed there, she says, because she got her license this year because she's 17. Yeah. And she's not wrong, but I'm like, yeah, but I'm not doing a test, am I? I'm driving you around. Oh, no, you're too close to the car in front. And it's like, it just was like constant.
Yeah, it's humbling.
Like,
It is humbling. It is
Shut
humbling.
up.
But you want to fight back. When someone, even if they're right, someone younger, you want to fight back.
You do.
Exactly. Bruce is in Hillary's. Morning, Bruce.
Morning, how you doing?
Good,
Good,
Bruce.
buddy. Were you told off by a kid?
Yeah, I was. So I was participating in a tennis tournament, all ages. I was in the open, sort of, because I'm above 30 years old.
Yeah.
Fairly high level, I might say myself. But as part of the whole sort of tournament, I think you have to do some refereeing, and I was refereeing an 8 to 9 year old age group match.
Yeah?
Yes.
And I was on my phone a little bit during the match whilst I was refereeing.
Yeah,
So the kid was like, "You get off your phone!
Oh.
You get off your phone!" And then reported me to the referee desk as well afterwards.
You got to report it. And
A
Bruce,
formal complaint was made about your refereeing because you were on your phone the whole time?
Not the whole time, but yeah, a bit.
so she was right. How did you feel being told off by a kid? Did you want to fight back or did you accept it?
It was probably justified. So I sucked it in.
Take it on the chin.
Oh, thanks,
That's
Bruce.
the spirit, Bruce.
I know. Sarah, hello.
Hi there, how are you guys?
Hi,
Great,
Sarah.
Sarah. You're obviously an adult. Have you been told off by a kid?
Yeah, my 4-year-old kindy daughter.
Yeah, what did you do wrong?
I was using scissors wrong, apparently. Wasn't doing it correctly.
How do you use them wrong?
So obviously you have your dominant hand where you use the scissors to cut, and you use the other hand to guide the paper around as you're cutting.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, obviously in kinder they're learning how to do it properly to the correct way, and I wasn't using my other hand to turn the paper. I was just cutting around using my other hand to bring around the scissors, and the scissors told me off, and I was like, here you go, you show me how to do it then.
Wow. Okay. So your scissoring technique is all wrong.
Yeah, probably. Not up to her scratch.
Yeah. Nothing quite like being humbled by a 4-year-old, is there? Thanks,
absolutely.
Sarah. Nigel, hello.
Hi there, how you going?
Hey, Nige.
Right, Nige. Why did you get told off by your kids?
Oh, I was out doing park inspections the other day, just looking at risk and stuff with, just things like playground equipment.
Yes.
And I got up to this one piece of equipment, and this young fellow, he would have been about 8 years old, in a push bike came up to me and he said, "Hey, mister, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm checking out this playground equipment." And he says, "Well, most of it's dumb." And he goes, I'm going to show you what needs to be fixed.
Yes.
So I entertained this young kid, and he took me right through all of the park inspection. And what's really innovative about it is the neighbourhood kids has actually drawn a sign up saying, "This is dumb, we want something decent," and put it on top of this piece of park equipment. So I took the photographs, and I agreed with this young kid, and I thought the innovation of these young kids is amazing. And I took it to my supervisor this morning because that was late Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And they sat down and agreed that the kids were right, and they're going to show the initiative and replace this piece of park equipment.
Wow. The kids they've called it out.
That's amazing the kids are doing that.
That's
they
mint.
have. And the sign was really cute. It was all done in kids' letters, like spelling wrong and all that.
Yeah.
But they did a good job, and it's actually worked. It looks like we've got it across the line just because these kids had taken the initiative, you know what I mean? So it pays to listen to them every now and then.
Yeah, what you should do, though, Nigel, is go
great.
back to the sign and correct it with a red pen. Don't let them have the last word on this. I mean, it's fine that they're right on one occasion, but we can't let them get ahead of themselves. Amazing. Amazing that you're receptive to it, too.
Yeah, that's
Good on
really
ya.
good. That's
Good on
really
you,
great,
Nigel.
Nige.
That 8-year-old is an agent for change. Great work, everybody. Thank you.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
On the weekend, perfect weather, so beautiful.
Great.
My niece has been asking me to come and watch her play netball since the season started, right? So she plays at Matthews.
We 8 weeks in.
Yeah, about that.
Parking is a nightmare, but there as well, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Oh, that's why Nat hasn't
Yeah.
gone. Was the only reason.
That was one of the many reasons. Also, like that, I could have done. I was thinking about doing it a couple of weeks ago. So the long weekend there was no netball. The week before that it was raining, and I'm like,
No, can't help you.
I can't help you.
Busy.
And then so she's and before this, so this is the first year of playing netball. Before that, she was rowing, and so I went and watched rowing a couple of times. And when she said I'm switching from rowing to netball, I'm like, this is great because rowing is a commitment. First of all, you've got to drive all the way to Champion Lake, so there's that.
Yep.
And I live in East Fremantle, so it's a bit of a hike. Plus, at rowing, she would row in a race, and I go, "Oh, you came second. That's amazing. Well done." She said, "Yeah, the final's in an hour and a half." And so then then you've just got to sit around for an hour and a half, just going, "Oh,
Just head into Kenwick and hang out.
yeah, go to that carpet shop."
Yeah, that's right.
And so when she switched to netball, I'm like, great, because it's closer to home.
Yeah.
It is, and it goes for an hour, so you know what your commitment is when you leave home. You know how long it's going to take, and so I had put it off, and I'd put it off, and then they're undefeated, so good. She's playing so well. Their team's doing so well, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I'll go along. So I went along on Saturday, and I got there just about 5 minutes into the first quarter, and I went, I don't seem to be going that well. I wasn't like, there's no scoreboard, so you don't know. But I'm like, it's a bit tit for tat. I'm like, no, they lost. So the first game that I go to is the first game in the whole season that they lost. I was like,
Did they chase you to the car? You're never coming to watch us play again?
So my niece is at boarding school, so that means that...
they get in on a bus.
Yes, that's right. And so literally the game finished, and she was talking to a couple of friends, and then she introduced me to a couple of friends, and then she went, I've got to go, and just literally ran, bolted for I've got to go get the bus, and bolted for the bus. I'm like, all right, bye. Yeah. And that was it. Went home. It was a disaster. The only nice thing about it was that the weather was lovely. But other than that...
So have you had a conversation since that you're not allowed to go or attend a game, particularly finals?
I know. I'm obviously just a really...
Cursed.
Yeah,
Jinx.
I'm a cursed omen. So much for being the lucky charm. I'm the opposite of that.
I was telling you earlier this morning, Nat, when you were telling me that story about my friend G, who his team. He was captain of the reserves team down at Rossmoyne. And we were only talking about this last weekend, and his mum hadn't seen him play all season long, and they were undefeated, and they were killing it. They were having a great old time. And she came along to watch him play, sat on the outside of the oval just with the old fold-up chair. And at half-time, he got really angry at his team as the captain because
So did he know his mum was there at this point?
No.
Oh, okay.
But he'd asked her to come a lot, but, she's
But he did that every week. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And anyway, so half-time, he's given everyone a bit of a spray as the captain, saying, we're all getting ahead of ourselves because we're normally used to winning and everyone was running forward, no one was playing defence. And if this keeps up, he told the coach, I'm leaving. And anyway, about 5 minutes into the third quarter, the opposition, streamed forward again. No one picked them up. They kicked another goal. He walked off the field and went to the left bank.
But his mum...
He got in his car.
So the one time his mum came to watch all season, he threw a tanty and stormed off and they lost.
Yes, as the captain.
I've never heard of someone do that. Just leaving your team.
He said, to his defence, he said, I warned everyone.
That's true. That's true. That sounds like a Sean McManus defence, by the way.
I warned everyone.
I warned
Next thing you know, he's at the left bank, rubbing shoulders with me.
Oh.
What are you doing here?
All right, let's talk about it. 13 24 10. We want to know, did you finally get so? You've been promising to go for so long. What happened when you got there? Did you cost them the grand final? It doesn't have to be sport, by the way.
No, absolutely not.
Could be anything.
Could be a recital at school. You turned up.
Dance concert. You finally went to a dance concert, and then you discovered how boring dance concerts are.
They are the worst. Aren't they?
Well, your kid performs for literally 3 minutes, but the whole thing goes for 3 hours.
Hours.
Sometimes they charge you a lot to go as well.
And say, tickets are limited. Why? Shelley, hello.
Hello.
Morning, Shelley.
Right, Shell, talk us through it. What happened?
Well, same thing. I took my mum to my niece's netball game, and it was a grand final in a rural location. And on our way there, because Mum got there to my house a little bit early, I was driving her up in her car. Not only did my niece lose her game of football, we didn't make it because on our way up there, we got taken out by an oncoming car who rode us off the road. And my mum was airlifted out with a broken back.
Wow. That's terrible.
Horrendous, Shell.
Shelley. No wonder you hadn't gone all season.
Yes.
Yeah. So, not only did we not make it,
and they lost.
She lost. And we couldn't let them know because her dad was a member of the SES, so being a rural location on a main road, had they heard of the accident and we hadn't turned up, they would have probably put two and two together. So we couldn't let them know, and I just had to ring her mum and say, hi, we've had a bit of car trouble. We're not going to make it. And she's like, oh, okay. And then my brother rang and said, there's been an accident. And she's like, I did think maybe, but no, it couldn't have been. And sure enough, it was us.
Oh my God. And your poor niece is like, it's been a terrible day. We lost our grand finals. Like, that's nothing. Nana broke her back. Like, you don't even get the attention for, nobody feels bad for you. Oh, Shelley, that is a hectic story. Thank you. Let's go to Sue in Wellard. Hi, Sue.
Hello, morning, guys.
Morning, Sue.
Sue, what happened?
So I used to work for the University of Notre Dame and always wanted to go out to Eco Beach Resort, but it was kind of a bit out of my price range. So a couple of years ago I turned 50 and decided I would do 50 fabulous things. So Eco Beach was up on the list. But unfortunately it was just after COVID. So when I got out there, first of all, the hot water for my cabin was broken, so I didn't get to sleep in one of the glamping tents. They put me in a unit, and then because it was after COVID, they hardly had any staff, so they didn't have any of the massages, any of the activities or anything like that. They had a very basic buffet for food. It was like the biggest letdown ever.
Oh, no!
Sue, this is devastating.
Sue,
devastating.
I was devastated.
Happy 50th.
No, it was a couple of years ago, but thank you.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's on the bucket list, right? You finally get there. And you don't go to Eco Beach to be in a unit. Like, you want to be in that. The whole point of it is to be in those glamping tents, right?
And you're indulging in everything. That's the reason why you're going.
Oh.
Yes, it was meant to be a pamper weekend and really treat myself. And, yes, it was a very big letdown.
Sue, I'm sad for you.
Sorry to hear, Sue.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Kings Park over the weekend with the two kids, Ollie and Arch. And
Great weather for it.
Oh, it was perfect. And you know, what's the place? You know, in Kings Park where it's got that really long grass straight that goes forever to the DNA Tower?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so we went there, and there's playgrounds for the kids and stuff like that. Kicking the ball with Ollie, he's 5, a soccer ball. And at one stage, I missed him, and it went to another family, and there was a dad there. And he would have been about my age. He looked cool, right? He looked cool. He dressed kind of cool like. And the ball went, ball went to him, and he kicked it up with his foot, and then he juggled the ball. You know
When he's got actual skills.
and he put his foot over the ball like it was a hop, and he did that, and then he passed it back, and I was like, that was wicked. And I said to him, well, you must play for the glory. And I don't think he understood what I meant, and he just kind of looked weirdly at me. But
He thought you were proposing a glory hole encounter. Is that what you're saying?
no comment.
Well, you know, there are toilets up that way.
Anyway, and so he did that. So I was like, this guy's cool. And then about 10 minutes later, we're kicking the football. The football went offside to him, and he grabbed it, and he was kicking it back to another kid who so we weren't kicking, it was another kid that kicked the football near us. And he went to kick it to this other kid. It was right next to the lake, and the kid was probably about 20 metres away, and the dad booted it. Absolutely booted it, so it's got some pace on it.
Yeah.
It missed the kid and went straight into a 9-year-old girl on crutches into her gut.
Because the only kid in the whole park on crutches, and it goes into her.
And went into her, and then she...
This is Sean McManus all over. Doesn't this smack of Sean McManus?
He said, what did he say? Oh, I should stick to the round ball. And we had luck, but then she started crying, and it was, so...
And the internal injuries, how is she now? Do we know?
I think she was right. She hobbled off, but she was already hobbling.
Yeah, exactly. This poor kid just minding her own business, and the dad boots it.
That is a Sean McManus-y thing.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever heard anyone else's kids?
I'm going to say yes.
Just can't recall the specifics.
I actually got hit by a kid myself, though.
Did you?
Yeah, I was at a Waffle Grand Final, and I remember it. It was this game that Andrew Cracker went bananas and kicked 5 goals at half time, because I got there. I was really excited. I was in a box with my friend's dad's, and so it was free terps.
How old are you at this point?
I'm going to say 19,
Okay.
20.
Was it Subio?
Oval.
Yep.
And anyway, I at half time, because I had a fair few, I went out in the oval and I was kicking. I just jumped into some kids and I just started kicking the footy with them like a hero.
Oh, did they ask for that?
No, they didn't ask for that at all. And I took a mark over this kid, and then no joke, like a hero. And then I started running off with the ball, and I had a bounce. Then this kid come from behind, unbeknownst to me. He tackled me to the ground. The biggest holding the ball you've ever seen.
So he should have, by the sounds of it.
You don't tackle and kick to kick.
No, but he ran off their ball.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask him.
No, they didn't ask me.
So from there outside, this drunk man turned up and stole their ball.
Yeah, 100% that.
Yeah.
And he tackled me to the ground, holding the ball like you've never seen, and my head, to the point where my head just went straight into the turf.
You
Concussion
deserved it.
protocol.
I did.
You deserved
I
it.
deserved
Whereas
it.
the little girl on crutches didn't deserve it, just so you know.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
I'm sure this will resonate with a few parents out there. So yesterday, after the football, beautiful day and everything like that, we went down to the local just to have a beer and something to eat outside. And most of my children come along because they can sniff a freebie like a mile away. And Mum was offering, so
it's nice that they want to spend time with you.
Yeah, exactly. So steak sandwiches all around, a couple of drinks and all the rest of it. And next thing you know, before we've even started a conversation, they've eaten their burgers and they're all gone. So that's fun. Anyway, later on...
sitting at a different table.
Later on when we got home, my younger son, he had a hectic day. He had some mates over and one of his friends wasn't in a good way. So he had a hectic day. And when we got home, it was a bit later and Megan, my oldest, came down, Lachlan, who came out for dinner with us, and he was off into Fremantle with his girlfriend. And Megan said, why don't you take Ollie with you?
Yeah, sure.
He hasn't been out of the house and you need some cheering
Cheer him up.
Take him out for dinner. Yeah, no worries. Oz, do you want to come along? Well, Sonny then comes down the stairs. She goes, they said, we might take Sonny then. Sonny, do you want to come? Yeah, let's go. Because, that she's thinking, I can get into Yochi as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then out of nowhere, my other son, Cooper, he just jumps out of his room, goes, yeah, I'm coming.
He didn't want to be left at home with you and Megan.
They're all hanging out. That's nice,
That's cute. That's really nice.
Yeah, so that was nice. And they all took off and everyone who was around our house was going, isn't that lovely? Just all the kids
They all want to spend time with one another because there's no way in the world that my brothers would have done that with me. No way.
So then the whole family walks in the door and I'm just going to bed at that time and Cooper walks up to me and he gives me a receipt and I'm like... Oh, what's this for? There you go. Oh, for dinner. $130.
What they expensed dinner.
He walked up, gave me the
Did you tell him that there's a form you've got to fill out in triplicate? Like,
I never asked people out for dinner. I wasn't part of dinner.
No.
Four kids, a girlfriend. What was your response when you got given the receipt?
I couldn't even believe it, Ross. I was so tired, I just wanted to go to bed.
The audacity.
The audacity, Nat.
Yeah.
I threw my hands in the air.
Did you just say
threw
yeah?
it probably just on the floor, and I just shut the door and walked away.
Megan's paid it already. She's transferred the money, hasn't she?
I hope she hasn't. There's every chance she has, Nat. But they...
$120.
It's just amazing.
How much was it?
You never stop getting stung. And I know parents are out there, and when your kids are little, so many costs and stuff. When they get older, there's a lot of costs, and they're more. Because
So almost all of those children are working too, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Sonny's got a job. Cooper works full-time.
Yep.
Lachlan works full-time.
Yep.
Ollie's in year 12 and playing footy, so he doesn't... Does he have a job?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't put any money into the household at all. So they're all costing me a mint. But to do that, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Ross, you got years of this ahead of you.
I know. Yeah. I'm broke as it is, so...
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank
Doesn't
you.
get any better.
$120.
How old?
Oh, it costs $130.
How old's Cooper?
He is 19. He's the first one who asked me to reimburse him with anything.
He wants to be. He's asked to be reimbursed previously if the rest of the family's gone out to dinner and he hasn't gone with you.
Yeah.
He's asked for you to pay what you would have spent
100%.
on his food.
Yeah.
So
I
optimistic.
ever come out for dinner? Give me $40.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.